pick the 0-2 battle scene. Yes!
Wonderful. All right. So we got StockTaker, playing against StockTaker, fighting off against DZ. We're now entering winner's semifinals, and it looks like Jared's going to be leading with his villager this time. This is going to be fun to watch. So we have discussed a little bit in the past about the differences of Villager and Isabel. This was pretty early on in the day. This is one of the matchups where I really feel Villager shines outside of Isabel because Villager just has more tools to suppress in neutral. Like, he's able to throw out a lot more hitboxes quicker, and he is able to like assert a space of his own to zone effectively.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point. You know, being able to put up that tree, for instance, is something that Isabel doesn't really get to do. And I think in general you're going to see Villager being able to use just the oppressive zone controlling moves that he has to really shut down all the approaches DZ wants to do.
On top of that, I feel like Isabel's tools don't lend themselves well to a fast-paced character like Aigling.
Yeah, because you're just going to be able to run past... Ooh, great axe. You're just going to be able to run past the Lloyd Mine. It's not as if that's going to stop Ling in his tracks at all. And so it's much better to set out that Lloyd Rocket from Villager, I think.
Yeah, Lloyd Rocket is changed. I can't really say if it's better or worse just yet because they've made a few aspects of what it made it good in Smash 4 worse. They've almost made it a reverse of what it truly is. It's solid down smash from DZ is going to tie things up.
You want to talk about that a little bit more, the changes to Lloyd Rocket?
So Lloyd takes a little bit more to fire off. He lingers a little bit and then goes. Now, he had that in Smash 4, but now it's a little bit slower. It is worth noting, though, he still has the increased knockback at the start of launch. Like, when Lloyd just spawns, right before when you have the option to ride it, it has much more knockback. And we've seen that hill multiple times during the Ultimate Kickoff. Not in this bracket yet, as this is Stock's first time rocking Villager on stream. But the Lloyd is just much more potent to kill. Meanwhile, it doesn't travel as far now and doesn't seem to do as much damage when he's at a distance. But it serves enough of a purpose to limit Inkling's movement, and I feel like that's what's making this such a much more difficult match for DZ.
Yeah, and one thing I want to talk about is you saw, oh wow, you see those little forward airs just reminiscent of Smash 4. But yeah, you saw StockTaker actually frame trapped the directional air dodge into setup for a bowling ball. And I think that's something you're going to see a lot in both the beginning stages and the end of this. The end of the game's lifespan, which is you have the option to frame trap the directional air dodge, which is something that you couldn't really do except for a select few moves in Smash 4.
Yeah, frame trapping is incredibly important in this, just because you have such a wide variety of options. You need to limit your opponent's options the best that you can. I feel like a lot of characters in the cast have the tools to do so now.
Yeah, you saw DZ actually experimenting with that parry a little bit. I think the slow Lloyd Rocket is actually a great way to practice your parry. So DZ was getting a little bit off of it. Wow, great air dodge back, avoiding the tree, but now he's in a difficult position. StockTaker trying to take the stock.
Also, returning to the stage with air dodge, while it's been used fantastically in the set by both players, I feel, has very odd mechanics, as we've recently learned. It seems that the way that the air dodge works, as far as, like, you know how you're supposed to get less out of it the more you air dodge, right? Oh, he's dead. He's dead. Yeah. So, the more that you air dodge, you're supposed to be in less, it takes longer for your active frames.
Yeah.
Until you can act out of it. And you also get less invincibility out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like there's different charges to this. People figured out that it takes about 5 charges or so of, like, decreasing the invincibility and increasing the length of time to your first action of the frame. And it gets up to these 5 charges, but then it decreases very quickly.
Is that the case?
Yes. So, like, the only way that you can really get to, like, the max charges of your air dodges and so is you have to just air dodge over and over and over and over again.
Really?
Like, literally, like, do nothing but air dodge. But if you do it every once in a while, it does not linger.
No.
Like, it's actually, it doesn't seem nearly as nerfed as was previously thought or as was advertised. Like during like early Nintendo Directs that were discussing the changes to the game when Smash Ultimate was announced and as more information was coming out with it. Air dodging seems fairly intact as far as its utility frame-wise to Smash 4. It's just the activity out of it, I feel, is very different. So that's that little fun fact.
Yeah, that is interesting to note. I mean, I think it was mainly changed to avoid people who just roll. So I think people in competitive play who were fearing that it would affect their air dodging habits might not have been the target of that nerf.
Yeah, it's like, we're not going to see it too much on our levels of play, I feel. Like, even like lower levels of players, it's not going to be as potent. But I feel like in the casual sense, it was actually a really solid adjustment.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because you're not going to see it unless you air dodge over and over.
Yeah, and right there, you saw a StockTaker actually do a little neutral air and fade forward so he could get that second neutral air. DZ able to avoid it, but it is interesting that StockTaker putting on an aggressive play here. Not gonna set. Wow, that was a great roller. DZ actually, he mixed up StockTaker. He did the jump with his dash before going for the roller, so it looked like he was just gonna dash forward, but instead dashing into the side B. And now DZ's got a lot of damage. Goes for another roller, up
and
smash.
There he goes. Yeah, that's been the sort of tried and true confirmed for when you do get the roll. It's either that or forward smash.
Yeah, depending on if you can space that forward smash quickly enough. DZ destroying the tree with the splat bomb. Is he going to charge more paint? He does. You see DZ playing, in general, a pretty reserved style when he wants to get paint. I've seen a lot of Inkling players be like, I don't need to recharge paint, but DZ, he's been using a lot of splat bombs, and so I think he realizes he does actually have to recharge the paint that he's using. This song is such a banger.
It's so good.
I feel like in general we have so many more good songs than we had in Smash 4. Like, tell me you wouldn't be hyped playing Grand Finals on this stage.
I don't know who decided that we needed someone to go in on the banjo for Animal Crossing.
I needed it.
But I'm glad we got it.
I didn't know we needed it, but now that I know we need it, I need it. Oh, that forward air off stage. DZ, is he going to finish the edge guard here? He's going off. Inkling's recovery is so good, though. He's able to keep up the pressure. Wow, he missed spaces that forward air, though.
Yeah, for whatever reason, they've actually adjusted the speed of Lloyd Ride, like when you actually ride the rocket. So you can still like slow it down or speed it up depending on control, but they've changed how slow is slow and how fast is fast. Which is definitely going to ruin muscle memory for people who had fought against StockTaker and a couple of the other World Island players.
Yeah, the ones that like to use that ride. Ooh, little setup there from StockTaker, trying to cover all the options, but he doesn't cover the roll, and DZ gets back on stage safe. DZ doing better in this match than he has been doing previously, but he's going to get caught with that tree.
That was wonderful. DZ was forced to air dodge in that situation. He had to air dodge through the Lloyd. He couldn't retreat or else Lloyd was catching him. And then Tree was there. And with Tree, so was StockTaker.
Ooh, jab into finisher. And now DZ has him at the edge. Used the little splat shot, but he's not going to get anything off of it. Just trying to get a little bit of damage and a little bit of ink on StockTaker.
You know, one thing I've noticed, and also something that we haven't discussed yet, despite Inkling being on stream a ton. So for those who don't know, the ink actually increases the amount of damage that Inkling is going to do to someone, which is why a lot of their kit puts ink on the person and why it's so important to do so consistently. In this particular matchup, I noticed that when Lloyd is in front of Villager, he's not getting inked. Lloyd's soaking up that ink.
Yeah, exactly. You can see StockTaker actually pulling out that Lloyd, perhaps for positional advantage, but as you're saying, it does do that double job of being able to block the ink from the splat shot. Ooh, that parry was dangerous.
Yo, I'm looking slick with this, but DZ realizing he's out of ink, forced to recharge.
Yeah, he's recharging behind the tree, now trying to kill it. But he's actually using ink with the splatter shot to try to break the tree, so he has to charge more ink.
Yeah, one thing I'm actually glad that DZ and a couple of other tri-state Inklings have been utilizing. Oh, God! I'll talk about it the next time he's on stream because that was a done deal. StockTaker going to move on.